is the first cryptocurrency, and is the one, it is the only coin that is categorically qualified to bear the name cryptocurrency alongside others, which are just, but we'll get to that. So what is Bitcoin, or in other words, what is cryptocurrency? These are what I want you guys to understand, because I don't want you to be confused along the line, like, okay, he's talking about Bitcoin and we are saying cryptocurrency in full. So cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, they are the same, because it is called crypto. Crypto, the word crypto means like the internet, and then currency put together, which means the internet money. So the definition, I believe that alone has already explained it all, which means that the Bitcoin is completely a digital money that enables a new payment system through a consensus network. It is the decentralized peer-to-peer payment network that is powered by its users with no central authority or middleman. From a user perspective, Bitcoin is pretty much like cash for the internet. So what do we understand with this? This Bitcoin is a digital money, just in a simple form. It's the internet money. Like we have the paper money in our physical world. We have the paper money. We have the Naira, if you are from Nigeria. We have the, the CDs, if you are from Ghana. We have the USD, which is the dollar, United States dollar, if you're from the US. And we have a lot of currencies like the pound sterling, Canadian dollar, a lot of them, the rupees, the China RMB or yuan, and a lot of them. And then we also, in Africa, we have every African country has their own, currency, physical currency. So the internet became a word, and a lot of activities, a lot of things are going on through the internet or on the internet. So it's big. There became a need, or the importance to have an internet money became a need. So it became really, really needful for there to be an internet money, and that is the reason why Bitcoin is the internet money that we are spending on the internet today. If you are buying and selling on the physical world, you have to give them your physical currency, either dollar or whatever. You pay them, then they give you what you want to buy. And that is how it is in the internet. If you want to buy anything, transact anything in the internet, as its own word, you need money, which the money is Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in full. So, and it is the first decentralized peer-to-peer payment network. So what Bitcoin is actually doing is it's actually helping creating a new payment system. Like you don't need to start looking for how to pay your customer who lives in Uganda. Maybe you are from Nigeria and you have a customer in Ghana, or a supplier, or probably a client, or anything that you want to transact, any person you are trying to transact with. Then you start looking for how am I going to get the money across to them, please, and what bank, or how am I going to send money and all of that. It's another, that becomes a problem. And this is the problem that the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is trying to solve, and has actually solved or resolved. So that is why it enables a new payment system. So it brought about a new payment system on the internet world that, you want to transact anything with anybody anywhere, you don't need to, that you shouldn't be stressed about that. So there is a system now, and that is Bitcoin. Why it is through a consensus network, I will come to that maybe in the next slide. So, but it is decentralized and it is peer-to-peer. What we mean by the word peer-to-peer, it means person to person. You can also use the word P2P. So that is basically what Bitcoin is all about. Bitcoin is pretty much like the cash for the internet. That is the actual simple definition of it all. The cash for the internet. If you don't know what is Bitcoin is, if you don't know what Bitcoin means before, you can just take that home and say Bitcoin is a cash for the internet, or the internet money, simple put in that way. So we move on to the next slide, which will be talking about the history of Bitcoin. So the history or origin, we use the word history right here, but it's actually from like the origin of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the first implementation of the concept called cryptocurrency. Yeah, which was first described in 1998 on the cyberpunk mailing list, suggesting the idea of a new form of money that uses cryptography to control its creation and transaction rather than a central authority. The first Bitcoin specialization and proof of concept was published in 2009. Yeah, 2009. So in a cryptography mailing list by Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi left the project in late 2010 without revealing much about himself. The community has since grown exponentially with many developers working on Bitcoins. The Bitcoin protocol and software are published openly, and any developer around the world can review the code or make their own modified version of Bitcoin software. So that's being read. I'm going to explain on a layman way what this is actually trying to tell us, or what it means. Bitcoin was first described by a group called the cypherpunk. The cypherpunk, they were the group, because right even to today, if you are trading Bitcoin, you can say, okay, you are part of the cypherpunk movement, because the originators, those who actually came together to start thinking of this digital money, call themselves the cypherpunks, and they has a way of publishing, their news, their activities, which was called the cypherpunk mailing list. Like, then you have to mail wherever publications you want to publish, and everybody is going to receive it on their mailbox and start to read all of that. So that is the cyberpunk mailing list. So they came together. They were suggesting a new form of money, a new form of money that uses cryptography to control its creation. So they thought like, okay, we have paper money, all of that, blah, 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 and people want to do a transaction, and they still find it difficult to do transaction online, because the money that needs to be paid is a physical money. So it becomes almost, very difficult to transfer your physical money into the internet, because the internet is not a physical world. It is not like, okay, you want to move from Ghana to Nigeria, or from Uganda to Sierra Leone, or the rest, This is the internet. You cannot move from the physical world into the internet in your physical nature. And the money too was a physical commodity, or rather was just a physical bill. It was a bill that is physically handled, which is like the paper, the coin. A lot of countries still use coin. A lot of countries not usually just the paper one. So this was what these cypher punks people or movements, because they actually created a movement, they were, you know, really crazy about, like, this doesn't make sense because the internet has come to stay, but it's going to be really difficult for us to leave it this way. And that was the reason. So with that, they started doing research and trying to say, okay, we can make an internet money that can be controlled by the use of cryptography. The cryptography means that is on the internet, that the control will also be in the internet. It can't be controlled by, you know, human or all of that. So that was what brought about the ideology, and they begin to become more curious and inquisitive about how they are going to come about the internet money, which are the cyberpunk group. So, but in 2008, there one among the cyberpunk group, which was by name Satoshi Nakamoto, then came about the real idea and actually innovated it, because they had been working on it, but he was the one who put it into reality, who realized that probably that dream or that quest that they were on, trying to bring about the internet money. Then he actually accomplished that task in 2008, and Bitcoin officially started in 2008. And then he published it that, the cryptocurrency or the Bitcoin has now come into realization. We can use it into, you know, transaction online or on the internet world, digitally and all of that. So he actually published that on their own mailing list too, but in the year 2009. And here is one of the most interesting parts. Satoshi Nakamoto is only known by name, but is never known by face, identity, or anything. And this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin is very special. Can you imagine a creator of something who never revealed his true identity rather than just name? And nobody has been able to trace Satoshi Nakamoto till date, as I'm talking to you right now. And this is what actually brought about the uniqueness of Bitcoin. It's not like other things that is being created, like, okay, Facebook was created by Mark Zuckerberg, and so people can actually, Mark Zuckerberg can actually be influenced by the government or by some highly technological people. Those who are in the high-tech industry can actually influence Mark Zuckerberg and say, oh, restrict these people, restrict these, or do that, or do this, and maybe because of fear or favor or some kind of economic pressure or regulatory pressure, Mark Zuckerberg will actually adjust his maybe policies or his own kind of technology, which is the social media type. He can adjust it so as to go in line with maybe the government or any form of pressures that may be coming up. And so as every other technological product online or that has come in place, like even the computer, like Bill Gates and the rest of them who actually innovated a lot of technological products, can be influenced because they are the founder, they are known, they have their physical place, home offices and all of that. But because Satoshi Nakamoto was very much aware of the the influence and all these whole things from those in power, those who are the technological power, the government power, the regulatory power, any form of power you can think of. Because I don't want to go too deep into all of that, but I want to be precise about Bitcoin. But he was aware, and this was one of his drive, that no, if they are able to even come about this, to come to realization of the internet money, then it can never be regulated by any of these powerful bodies. And that was why when he created it, his identity was unknown. And even the cyberpunk movement, which there were 9 of them per se, never actually disclosed their identity to each other. They were having a mailing list where they were also publishing to each other and publishing to people, but they never also disclosed their identity to each other. So when Satoshi came to the realization, he mailed it to the rest of them, and also then they just work on that idea, that technology, and that realization, and start to build on it, because they are anonymous. They become completely anonymous to each other and to the world. Then Satoshi, before he left, because he said the time has come that if Mr. A want to do a business with Mr. B, you don't need Mr. C for us to be able to do that business. Now, if I myself, which is Kelly, want to do a business with maybe John, I don't need, why should I go through, when I can actually just talk to John and John can talk to me and we can transact within ourselves? Why should I go through bank first? Bank it becomes a third party. Now, bank is another body that can either hinder our transaction, because this third party can also hinder our transaction. The bank can say, no, because you don't have this, Mr. Kelly, because you don't have this and that, we cannot process this transaction for you. And then it becomes a bad result for Mr. John, because Mr. John will not be able to actually receive probably the payment or maybe the products. If he is paying me and I'm giving him product, he may not be able to receive the product. But if I'm paying and he's giving me product, he may not be able to receive my payment, because now there is an impediment in between. And that is the third party, which is actually which is actually impeding transactions most of the time. And these are some of the things Satoshi Nakamoto and the rest of them, the cyberpunk, was really not satisfied about. You understand? So, and that was why they wanted a peer-to-peer, that is P2P, meaning person to person, me to you. That if Mr. Kelly wants to transact with Mr. John, he doesn't need any third party. We can do that without any form of impediment, except we want to actually cause a barrier between ourselves. Except I say, okay, I may not be able to do it, I will know, yes, that is my own personal excuse, not like the bank trying to regulate things. That is the reason why Satoshi Nakamoto came about their realization of Bitcoin, the internet money, that can also foster a lot of development even in the physical world, and not just in the internet world, but in the physical world. It's going to bring about, more increase in the developing stream, or to mainstream the development in every part of the world. And that's why the definition says it brought about a new payment method. That is I just want you guys to understand it properly. He brought about the new payment method, and this is also the reason. But like I said, something really interesting is that Satoshi Nakamoto left the project in late 2010 without revealing much by himself, which was the name. He revealed, okay, the name is Satoshi Nakamoto, but no one knows who he is. No one knows him by face. No one even knows the identity. Even the name, everyone is sure that that is just the name he actually want to bring up. They don't know if it's his real, birth name. So he was very much anonymous to that level, and that is what makes the Bitcoin community grow, really rapidly, because it becomes a system that this thing, nobody even knows how it was created or who created it. So they don't want. Why Satoshi did that? Because he knows that a time might come, if they know how it was created and his identity, then Bitcoin, the future of Bitcoin may not last, because the governments always want to regulate everything and subjugate. The government always want to subjugate, or rather subject every activities within their country under their control. Like every bank, every country today has central bank. Like in Nigeria, our bank is called the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is the regulatory body, the financial regulatory body of every monetary activity in the country. That is, they are the CBN, or the central bank, has actually subjected everything that has to do with finance under its control. That is the government. But Satoshi made Bitcoin anonymous, and that was what made it impossible, completely impossible for any government, any country's government, not even the US, which could be reckoned as world power, to be, to be able to regulate it. Not the British or the United Kingdom. No country's government that can regulate it, because, or that can actually subject it or control it completely, because it is anonymous and they have no way of intruding it, or rather just penetrating into its technology. This is the uniqueness of Bitcoin. Rather, the Bitcoin protocol and software are published, like it's explained right here on the screen. I believe you guys are reading. So it is published openly. It's published openly. It means that, okay, Bitcoin is open. It's an open transaction that everyone can see, but it can never be, be pitched. Like, it can't be truncated. It can't be rather twisted or changed or modified to the favor of certain people or country or government, or people in power and all of that. It can never be twisted in that regard. It is something that it's completely regulated by itself anonymously. But the open source made other developers to be able to create more other coins like Bitcoin. And we are going to go into that. So I believe I'll be able to establish a little bit of the origin of Bitcoin, why it was created and how it was created, like I have explained already. So I would like you guys to also know, other types of other types of cryptocurrencies. Let me put it that way. So now we are going to be talking about types of cryptocurrencies. But it is important that when we are talking about type of cryptocurrencies, it is important to note that only Bitcoin, which is originally called cryptocurrency, so it is only Bitcoin that is originally called cryptocurrency based on it was like, you know, the figurehead of the innovation of cryptocurrency. It was the holy one that was used to innovate cryptocurrency. So it is the one that's actually qualified to fall in between the space or the category of bearing that name. But we actually can borrow the name to other coins. And therefore, all other coins, all other cryptocurrency types are called the altcoins or shit coins. Shit coins or altcoin. You can call them the altcoins, you can call them the shit coins. We shall only list the top 15 of them. Yeah, the reason why it's called an altcoin and the shit coin is because after which Bitcoin or cryptocurrency has been created, which is Bitcoin has been created, and then it has been created on the cryptography, which is the only body which can all regulate it, can regulate itself online, as on the cryptography technology. When people start to see that, okay, there are a lot of possibility with these cryptocurrencies, there are a lot of, you know, opportunities, and based on the uniqueness of cryptocurrency and the height of which Bitcoin is going to go in the nearest future, people began to, you know, saw the need to say, oh, this thing is actually good. I think it makes sense. It is unique because it is anonymous. It is something that can also create more development, not only on the internet world, but also on the physical world and what have you. So people started to see the need for all of these. And then developers, that is what I mean by developers, those who are programmers, those who are coding, those high-tech people or companies and organizations began to see, okay, how can we create something similar, like just to I would say an alternative to Bitcoin, something similar, just to like probably a copyright, because there's no way they can create Bitcoin anymore, because it is actually stamped and never can be changed. They can never change its cryptographic technology or the technology behind Bitcoin. And we are going to go into the reason and the regulatory body of that. So that was why altcoins came about, and all other altcoins or shit coins, because a lot of Americans refer to these as shit coins, like shit. You understand? So, but it doesn't matter whether you call it a hot coin or the shit coin, or you can just say cryptocurrency. The Bitcoin just borrowed out the name to them so that they can also be under the categories of what? Cryptocurrency. So, but we are going to be looking at just 15 of the types of altcoins, which are other alternative coin aside from Bitcoin. 15 of them, because there are a lot of them though, but just 15 top ones that we'll be revealing right now. So, like it is displayed on my screen, that Bitcoin is the pathway for all altcoins. Yeah, that is why Bitcoin can never be listed as an altcoin, because he is like the figurehead or the pathway of cryptocurrency. So it is always remain a cryptocurrency. So now these are the list of the altcoins that we can talk about: the Ethereum, the Binance Coin, Tether, Dogecoin, Litecoin, Cardano, Polkadot, Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, Ripple, USD Coin, Shiba Inu, Dash, and Tron, and Terra, you know, and so on and so forth. A lot of them like that, but basically or majorly, these are the ones which are also in line with the real cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. So, and if you can if you are into cryptocurrency, maybe a bit, or you have a little bit of its knowledge, you can you must have observed that all of these altcoins that you are seeing right here, that I'm moving my cursor on, they move side by side with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is up, they also increase. If Bitcoin is down a little bit, they also, so they are just like a copyright. That's why they are called the shit coins or the hot coins, but they are good too. And among these hot coins, there are some called the stable coins and all of that. So I may explain that as as we go on. So these are the altcoins or the shit coins types, the major ones. And as you can see on the picture or the graphic right here, you can see some of the symbol. This is a symbol for Ethereum, the Binance coin, the Bitcoin, and all other ones. There are Ripple and the rest of them. So the rest are not showing actually, but this is just like the knowledge. So we are moving on to the blockchain network. The blockchain networks. Now, what is the blockchain and what is it about? The blockchain is a shared public ledger on which the entire Bitcoin network relies. All confirmed transactions are included in the blockchain. It allows Bitcoin wallets to calculate their spendable balance so that new transactions can be verified, thereby ensuring that they are actually owned by the spender. The integrity and the the chronological order of the blockchain are enforced with cryptography. Now, this may seem too complicated a bit if you are not so much into technology or understand some of these, or you are not an IT person. You may just see all of these like, oh, crypto, blah, 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 blah. But let me just break it down in a simple form. The blockchain network. What is it about? Blockchain acts like, I believe every one of us present to RTL, we know what is called the central bank. Yeah, the central bank. So every country has a central bank, and we all know the central bank, what it does. And I'm not sure that any one of us, even though we know the central bank, even though we know the address, we know the location, or we even live close to the central bank, we don't transact with the central bank, right? We don't probably have any activities to do with the central bank. The central bank is a bank, but it is central, like it makes all other bank centralized under it, like it hits the one regulating every other banks. So we are, as maybe the customer or the common citizens, we can only transact with the bank, maybe the first bank, the blah 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 bank, which the banks are the ones allowed to transact with the central bank. So now, in the internet world, the blockchain acts as the central bank. Yeah, it is. You can simply just say a blockchain is the central bank of the internet world, which is actually is a regulator, and it is the technology, the foundation by which every cryptocurrency is built upon or are built upon. Yeah, it is the foundation, and it is the regulatory body which actually can regulate anything that has to do with the internet money, which is the blockchain. And in a more simpler form, we can say the blockchain is a technology that actually that has been established to reduce human errors, the human errors. So why is it important for us to understand blockchain? It's because every single transaction on this blockchain network, how it works. So, well, basically, let me just quickly run this up. The blockchain only works. It's like is a ledger, is a or you can, for those who actually understand maybe the Microsoft Office, you can call blockchain as a spreadsheet. It's like a spreadsheet where every transactions that is coming in and out is being recorded. Like spreadsheet, you record, it's used to, for recording of data, like your data, those who actually understand that Microsoft Office kind of a thing. So this is what blockchain is about. Like if Mr. A, like the explanation is the graphic right here is actually explaining something to us. Now, a person A wants to send money to person B, or maybe he wants to buy, because definitely before you are sending money to someone, you want to buy something, right? Or the person has actually bought something from you, or is owing you money, or maybe it's your friend or relative, any kind of a thing. But what matters, you are sending money to somebody, or you are making payments. So if you are making payment from here to this person, maybe he lives in another world, or in another, in another continent or country, or in, maybe in another street, even in your area, or it doesn't matter, as long as it's different persons. So now you want to send money to him. The only thing that the next thing you need to do is what? You create a transaction. Now, the transaction becomes a block. The transaction becomes a block. The transaction you are creating becomes a block. And then as from I don't know what's this, okay. From that block, which is the transaction, because you want to send money now, you want to make a transaction. You want to send money, that means you want to make a transaction. So, and now it is a block, that you want to make a block, or you want to make a transaction. But for the blockchain language, it's called a block. Now, the block, or rather the transaction, is being broadcast to every parties in the network. That is why it's called a blockchain network. It's broadcast to the blockchain technology, like, oh, person A wants to send money to person B. So how do we do it? How do we permit the person? Then now everybody in the networks then say, oh, this is true. This person is truly going to send money to this person. So we are not, they are not trying to scam each other. Maybe this one is not, the person A is not trying to deceive person B that, okay, I want to send money, and then get into problem like the way the physical world is going to be. Yeah, that is why the blockchain network creates a trust. It's a technology that replaces what human error in a layman word. So the error there can be a trust. Like, okay, if it was to be a bank, you can say, okay, I want to send you money, then you give me the product that I want to give to you. Then you can just lie and say, oh, I have sent the money, and it is probably the network is hanging, but I've sent it and all of that. Then there becomes a distrust in that transaction, and before the transaction can be finalized, when it is a physical one like our paper money, it may take a whole lot of time. Like, the bank has to say, go and bring this, bring that, present this, bring ID card, bring that. You need to, a lot of things like that. So it can take a whole time. But on the blockchain network, which is acting as a central bank for the cryptocurrency, that is why it is called the open. It is called, it has an open source. It is open for people to actually see what is going on in it. It is very transparent in terms of transaction. So when you send the block from here, and then you broadcast, the blockchain network broadcasts it to everybody who is actually part of the blockchain network. Now, everyone will see that, okay, this person is actually really sending money, because it's going to, it has a, a mechanism whereby the money is being, the transaction is being validated and verified. if you have been using Bitcoin, maybe just a little bit of a knowledge of it, you have a bit, maybe you just try Bitcoin for a while, you will see that sometimes it will say when you are receiving Bitcoin or sending Bitcoin to somebody, it's going to say like, okay, you have to wait for 2 or 3 confirmations. So that 2 or 3 confirmations is you might be wondering what the confirmation means. It's just because of it is an open source and is actually sending signals, like trying to verify the payment to ensure that yes, you are actually sending money to B, and making sure that yeah, that money is true and the person actually sent it. So they will confirm it, verify it, and when it goes through, when it has been verified, that means the network has approved the transaction, and then it records itself into what? A block. It has to order block. That is what, and then the transaction is completed. The money goes to the person. Just sometimes it takes a minute, sometimes it takes up to it can take up to 10 minutes or blah blah blah, but at least or at most, sorry, it cannot be more than an hour because of the way blockchain network works. So it's really fast and it's just to validate. So in other words, blockchain is the technology that actually chained every of the blocks of cryptocurrency, because the block of cryptocurrency is reckoned as transaction. That is, it's actually means transaction, which in the cryptocurrency industry is regarded as a block. So then block, which is a transaction, and now the chain. We all understand what chain means in a fair language. So the blockchain is actually chaining all the transactions together, which is like a spreadsheet that records all the blocks that comes into the chain, like a spreadsheet. That's the reason why I said it can be likened to a spreadsheet where you input data, and then that data, but in the spreadsheet you can change the data or anyone can edit the data. But in the blockchain, any data that has gone into this blockchain or that has been added into these old blocks can never be changed. It can never be changed. It is locked up. It's a key. You can see the key right here. It means that it cannot be changed. Those blocks can never be changed. So that is basically what blockchain is, or what it actually symbolizes in the cryptocurrency industry or in the internet world. Is a way of regulating. So the blockchain can never be hacked. It can be changed. It can't be regulated by anybody. It's only regulates itself. How does it regulate itself? That may be another question a little bit. But okay, it regulates itself by those who are also, like those who are making the transaction or who are involved in the blocks. Those who are involved in the transaction or the block. So now it doesn't need the Central Bank of Nigeria or the financial concentration body of the United States, because it calls it a financial something. So it doesn't need that to, first of all, regulate that transaction before the transaction can be right or wrong. It doesn't need any bank. It regulates it through those who are also doing the transactions, who are also involved in the transaction, which are those involved in the block network or the blockchain network. So that's basically the reason why it's being called the peer-to-peer, the P2P transaction. It is just the peer-to-peer, like it is me to you, between ourselves and no one else. And if we want to regulate the transaction to make it trustworthiness, that is why the record is here to record it, and that is the chain. So that's basically what blockchain is. Here you can see it says the integrity and the chronological order of blockchain are enforced with cryptography. So this is basically what the cryptography how the cryptography works. Like, okay, it goes, like when you initiate a trade, it becomes a block. From the blocks, it broadcasts it into among all other people available on the blockchain network, and then it's been verified. When it's verified, maybe one or two confirmation, then the transaction is recorded among other transactions, or the block is recorded among other blocks, and then the transaction is complete. This is what blockchain actually works. So it is pertinent for everyone who is actually using the internet or into internet money or innovation or anything that has to do with cryptocurrency to understand how blockchain works and the blockchain technology, and probably how it regulates itself. So it regulates itself through those involved. Now, we shall be looking at the cryptocurrency terms or commonly used words. The commonly used words of cryptocurrency, or in why transacting cryptocurrency on a day-to-day basis, are the altcoins. Number one, but although they are not actually limited to just these ones. There are a lot of them, but for the sake of time, we actually pick some of the major ones that is necessary for every cryptocurrency traders to be probably aware of. So the altcoin, as we have explained in the beginning of the whole section, is these are any other coins or cryptocurrency that is not Bitcoin. So altcoins are alternative to Bitcoin, which are, oh, my connection is unstable. Okay, I think it's stable now. All right, so altcoins are alternative to Bitcoins, which are any other coin that is not Bitcoin. So now we have the other one called the fiat. The fiat is any currency backed and regulated by law like USD, Euro, or Naira, etc. The fiat, you can call your currency, if you are in Ghana, you use the Ghana cedis. You can say, okay, the Ghana cedis is regarded as a fiat. The Naira and the rest of them is called the fiat currencies, or the fiat. Now, this is where we come to the P2P, which means the peer-to-peer or person-to-person. Two users interacting directly without a third party or intermediary. Person-to-person. That's the meaning of the P2P. Now, the dip or bearish. When the price of cryptocurrency decreases, you mean there is a dip, but when it's called dip, it means it actually decreased so low, like it went down, or rather, the price deflated so much. That's a dip. But if you use the word bearish, it means it actually decreases. So whichever one is just for you to have a clue of what it means. Now, the boom or the bullish. This is used when the price of cryptocurrencies goes up or is increasing. So you can say the price of cryptocurrency is bullish or is booming when it is increasing. Now, convert or transfer, because you are going to be seeing some of these in some of your wallets, or if you are using cryptocurrency trading platforms, you have a wallet, you're going to be seeing transfer or convert. So it means moving or converting one coin type to another coin within a system. That is when you are transferring from if you are transferring from Bitcoin to Ethereum, you are converting, or you are transferring rather. If you are converting from Bitcoin to Tether, that is conversion or transfer. You are actually making you are transferring from one currency to another cryptocurrency. So the address, you can always, if you are trading Bitcoin, like if you have a little bit of a knowledge or you are into it for some time, you should know what they call the Bitcoin address or the wallet address. So the address basically means like account number to receive coins. That is just like you are using the bank. If someone wants to send money to you, you must give them your details, like your account number, the bank name, the whatever, like your full name, or all of that. You must give them so that the person can be able to transfer money directly to your bank account if the person is using another bank account. But in the crypto or the internet world, it is easier because you don't need to send the name of the bank or your name or every other information. No, you just send only your address to receive money from anybody. So the person doesn't need to ask you which name is there, which platform are you using? Are you using this or that? Are you using First Bank or Second Bank? Or GT Bank or whatever, You just send just the address. This is what address looks like in cryptocurrency. So this is the address. When you copy this, when you send the person this address, it's going to copy this address and then paste it and then send money. Yeah, address it may look really confusing to see this address like this. We call it like your public keys because it's only used to receive money. And the reason why it is long and in an order that you may not really understand, like the account number may be 10, like the Nigeria account number is 10 in number. You can even have that on your head, but it might be nearly impossible for you to just cram these or mention your address offhand. So, but the reason why is because of the uniqueness of cryptocurrency and the anonymous or the anonymity of cryptocurrency. That's the reason why the address too can be confusing. But there's nothing really confusing about the address. It's just for you to copy and send. The person is just to copy and paste and send the money. So it's not like a phone number that you need to type and then make mistakes. So the internet world is actually like an automated world that is actually almost completely free from mistakes. The technology, the computer does what you want it to do. It doesn't make mistake like the human being, except if there is a disruption or interruption. So that is what address basically look like, or the meaning of address. And this is called a Defi. Defi is a term for decentralized alternative or opposite to traditional centralized finance. So DeFi in the cryptocurrency terms, when you are hearing of DeFi, it means that cryptocurrency is a DeFi kind of transaction. That is a transaction that is decentralized. It's not centralized on top on one body like the central bank or the government that actually regulates cryptocurrency. The paper money or the physical money. So it's not, but the internet money, which is a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, is decentralized. Decentralization means, it is not centered on one particular place or body or a group or, one kind of a regulatory body or something. Is not centralized or centered on it. The whole power is not given onto that person. So it can be done anywhere. It is decentralized. So that's the meaning of Delphi. Block, like we already explained, group of data, but it can be a group of data which means blocks. But one in a singular form, block is a transaction, just a transaction or record within the blockchain. That is, when the transaction is coming into the blockchain, it comes in as a block. Like I explained already, that's the meaning of a block. And now the blockchain on its own, a digital form of record keeping and the underlying technology behind cryptocurrency. So it's a digital form, which is the blockchain. That's the chain that actually actually like cover up or record these whole blocks, which is the transaction, that record every transaction, and it record it uniquely to the point that it can never be changed. Once it is recorded, it is recorded, and it is transparent and never be changed or altered. It can never be altered. So this is basically what the blocks actually mean. I mean, the blockchain stand for, like as we explained already. Now the node. The node is a computer that connects to a blockchain network. So like, let me quickly take you back. You can see that, okay, these are a lot of computers right now. This one is computer, this one is mobile phone, computer, and the rest of them. So they are, because this is an internet world. So for you to access the internet, you need a computer, right? Or you need a mobile phone, you need a gadget. It can be a tablet, it can be, as long as it's a gadget that can actually be used to access the internet. So that's the reason why that is what is called a node. Any form of gadget or computer, it can be a mobile phone too, that can be used to connect to the blockchain. That's when that can be used to make a transaction. So it's called a node. And the KYC means that know your customer. That's just like a simple form of the KYC. Is an acronym, an abbreviation of the word know your customer. So this is a term for the verification by crypto broker website. Yeah, so it's just some of these websites that actually that you can use in accessing or start trading cryptocurrency. They are the one doing the KYC. Like, they just want to know their customer, know that they're actually dealing with a human being, physical person, and not a like a robot or an artificial person, which happens to be probably on the internet. So that's the KYC, the meaning. And now the public or private keys, which I explained a bit. Your transactional keys, one is public and the other one is private. Now, these can be regarded as your public key because it is your address, like you are giving, because you are mining Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin is just easy, it's not secure, and how can someone just mine Bitcoin and just have it on your own? No, you're actually doing some hard work, and now when you are doing the hard work, you are there because it's connected a little bit in some ways to the blockchain. So the blockchain is actually a kind of rewarding you for the hard work you are doing trying to compute something. Because the mining, as we can just hear it, it seems simple in some ways, but it is not as easy as it seems. You have to do a lot of work before you can be able to mine even one bit, because just there are what we call bits and there are what we call Bitcoin. So before you can have bits, you have to mine so much. So that's basically what mining is like. There are also some survey you can do, and then they will give you Bitcoin. That can also be regarded as, okay, you are mining Bitcoin because you are doing something to get Bitcoin, and it's not like you are buying. So, and there are some software or rather website that they can ask you to keep doing this, promoting that, and keep, they will be giving you some bit by bit, and that's just like you are mining. So that's what mining actually, represents in the terms of cryptocurrency, or when you hear of these commonly used words. So now we'll quickly move on to the types of cryptocurrency exchange platforms and reviews. There are a lot of cryptocurrency platforms right there. We call them exchange platform or website, but these websites are, not limited to being, they are not the one having the cryptocurrencies or the one regulating cryptocurrency. No, they don't have that. This website don't have that, right? They cannot access, like, control blockchain regulate itself. what this website does is just like we can use the word like an intermediary by which you can access, you know, cryptocurrencies in the blockchain or get into the blockchain network. So this is just what it does by coming up with different kinds of websites. And now we have them as it was reviewed though. The eToro, or some call it the eToro, which they see as the overall best, blah, blah, blah. But meaning that the world best crypto Bitcoin trading platform is actually based on country experience or continent. So every of these cryptocurrency exchange platforms has where they actually function best. You understand? So, and so you don't get confused. That a coin maman can be regarded as the cheapest cryptocurrency or exchange website to trade Bitcoin. The block fee, or the block fee, or block fee, as some people may say, is the beginner's top choice for investing into cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. Coinbase, yeah, I believe a lot of you might have heard of Coinbase, possibly, is a leading Bitcoin trader or blockchain broker, because they are just brokers. And it's not like they are the one controlling Bitcoin or whatever. They don't have any control, and they cannot. They're just brokers. I believe you guys know what brokers means, like just an intermediary by which you can access something. So the Binance, the trusted cryptocurrency investment, crypto wallet to invest, or rather, you know, blah, blah, blah. So like I said earlier, these reviews are done based on countries' perception or user experience. Like those in the US can say, oh, Coinbase is the best because Coinbase is a US-based cryptocurrency broker. So those in the US can say this, the Coinbase is a leading Bitcoin trader and the broker is the best to them, blah, 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 because they are living in what? In the US. And so as the Coin Mama is someplace in, you know, the Europe zone and the rest of them. So, and the Binance, it's for the Asian zone, the Asia, yeah. So, and a lot of them like that. So it depends on the, you know, the continental region or countries or the user experience. So, but most recommended for the overall Africa countries, because a lot of these ones are good and they are usable in Africa. You can use the eToro, the CoinMama, the Block Fee, or the Coinbase, the Binance. You can use all of them. But in Africa, when you are, let me start an example with a blockchain, because the Coinbase, because I've actually used the Coinbase over time. When you are actually using the Coinbase in Africa, sometimes it becomes a little bit difficult for you to transact it into your local currency. Yeah, you can, everything is functionable, you can function completely and well in Africa, but before you can, you know, if you want to transact into your local currency, it becomes a little bit of a problem, except you have to pass through some other exchange medium. So which that can be possible, but just to save some stress, it is way easier for you to use some of the ones that are, you know, really user friendly in Africa, which are these three: the Binance, the Passful, and the Remitano. So these are some of the ones that are actually being used in Africa, and that is user friendly by a lot of people in Africa, that you can easily convert your money into your local currency, either the Naira, the shillings, the CDs, or whatever currencies that you actually have. So that is for the types of the exchange platforms. So now we might look at how to get yourself registered, or how to register and get verified on the cryptocurrency platform. So these are the requirements basically for all of these ones. even all these ones are the same requirements you're going to be. If you want to download the Coinbase or the Ethereum or wherever, it is the same requirement you are supposed to be you are presenting. You understand? So, and like we talk about the KYC, these are the places where these are the brokers that actually ask for the KYC. That is that does the KYC thing. I mean to say that is they try to know their customer, like your email, your phone number, national ID card, or your international passport, video verification, proof of address, or utility bill. So these are some of the requirements you just need to get ready. But it doesn't mean that you must get all of these requirements available before you can be able to, step into the cryptocurrency industry. No, it doesn't mean. You can just get at least some basic ones, or some like for the initial startup, you can just get like your email, your phone number, or any ID card like that can be national, or maybe passport or driver's license. Yeah, we forget to add your driver's license here. So you can also use your driver's license. So you can decide to say, okay, I only have this theory. I can provide this theory from year to year. Then you can start trading cryptocurrency and doing a lot of transactions, making a lot of blocks every day into the blockchain network, and a whole lot of that. If you don't have this yet, video verification, of course, is easier because they just want to see your face to know that, okay, it's not even like the company is trying to see your face. It has been programmed like that in the system. Their technology has been programmed that, okay, this must be a human being's face. So the human being must be like, okay, be able to open his eyes, shake his head, move forward a bit before you can accept and say, okay, this person is verified. So if you just use your face verification like your video verification, any of this company can just these brokers can just their technology behind their video verification can access you and verify you. Your proof of address can be your NEPA bill. Sorry, I said NEPA bill because I'm a Nigerian though. It can be your utility bills, which are like your electricity bill. It can also be your bank what they call it in the bank, like bank statements and blah blah blah. It can be any of that. So you're going to see all of that in the platforms when you actually go in to try to do all of that. So, but you can actually register from stage. You can verify from stage 1 to stage 3, and you can still be trading. It's just that you have a little bit of a limitation as far how many transactions or the amount of transaction you can hold a day and a week and a month. Like if you verify email and phone number, they can allow you to make a transaction of, okay, $1,000 per day or per week. You cannot exceed more than that, which is the brokers, that is their regulation. But if you verify your ID card with any ID card form, it can exceed to $5,000 or $10,000 a day or week, and 100,000 in a month, and blah blah blah. So like that, the more you keep verifying, the more your limit